welcome to Widnes Rugby Chat episode 29 with me, James Gordon. I'm joined by Ian Cheveau. He's took time out of his busy schedule to join me on the sofa today. I'm sorry I've not been too active on the podcast in the recent weeks, so I'll try and rectify that. Thinking of going to audio only, which will give me a little bit more flexibility with things. We've got loads to talk about. We're going to talk about Wembley, obviously. We're going to talk about the league and the on-field stuff. We're also going to talk about what's going on off the field, because there was a members' night on Monday. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but I've taken Dave Murphy posted a load of stuff on the forum of what's been going on. So we'll go through that at some point as well. But I suppose first off, Ian, Wembley.
Yeah, and first time in 26 years. It's a massive achievement for the club. Considering where we were, at the start of the season, and things got off seemingly well in the pre-season. Decent performances against Warrington and Hull KR. We bashed Halifax. And to lose away was a phenomenal result. And we thought, you know what, this sounds pretty good. It feels pretty good. Little did we know, although some of us had a feeling that all wasn't right. That something was looming. Obviously, administration came in. The club was saved thanks to the fans and the directorship. And now we're at Wembley. It's a phenomenal achievement when you think of it. It's massive for the club, massive for the town, and exactly what this rugby league club needs. I
mean, looking at the 895 Cup, presuming it stays, and I assume it will do. I know a lot of people have criticised it, and I think it's slightly unfair. Everyone loves bashing the RFL, don't they? It's a new competition, but the prize money will increase year on year. Okay, it's after the Challenge Cup final, but that was due to the BBC. You're not wanting it before. But in theory, if the years Widnes stay in the Championship now, you could, in theory, reach Wembley every year. And okay, yeah, it's not in the prestigious event of the day, but it'd be great if, almost like you could get so it's like Wembley every year almost.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we've got to be realistic about this. Widnes are in a position where we could be in the Championship for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and we are where we are, and that's just the bottom line. So why not make the most of what is a great cup competition? The 1895 Cup, a lot of people were saying it's Mickey Mouse, it's the Coca-Cola Cup, it's the Mickey Mouse Cup, it's the Worthington Cup in soccer terms, but for me, it's a serious competition, and Widnes, to the credit and to Caden's credit, he's took it dead serious, and the players have, and they deserve that place in the final.
And forgetting the money side, you play sport to win silverware.
You do.
And obviously Wembley, for them players, with all due respect to a lot of them players, I know a couple of them may have played at Wembley before, but
yeah.
They probably never even dreamed of getting to Wembley, and for them to be able to, and the same with Sheffield as well, and the other Championship clubs that could potentially got there in future.
Absolutely, and let's not forget as well, we're still in the Challenge Cup next year. We can have a go at that, but let's be realistic again. We're never going to get to the Challenge Cup final. We're never going to beat one of these Super League heavyweights because we're Widnes and we're in the current situation. So why not take the 1895 Cup? I'm all over it. I'm a massive advocate of it. For the Rugby League and Ralph Rimmer particularly deserve a bit of credit for this.
I thought it was a disgrace that the Northern Rail Cup got kiboshed when it did, and that obviously was as a result of the Super 8s thing.
Yeah. That's it.
Because it was always a good. Obviously the finals of Blackpool, it was a great. You look at when obviously it wasn't great for Widnes, but when Batley beat Widnes in 2010, fantastic for Batley, and they're a good example of a club who they know their limitations and they celebrated that accordingly.
I agree. It was heartbreaking for Widnes at that time, but at the end of the day, what they do for Batley, it put them on the crest of a wave, and they generated a load of momentum with that, and with that comes season tickets, sponsorship. New shirts, replica gear, all that palaver, and Widnes are now probably going to enjoy that. Hopefully, this is going to be the first of many.
Yeah. I think the club announced that they sold 3,000-ish tickets. Yeah. So at 25%, I think there's their fair amount of money. Hopefully, they can shift a bit of merchandise. We've seen a few comments about the T-shirt. We're not sure about that. We're a bit on the we'll be diplomatic, I think. I think you'd sell anything, wouldn't you, for Wembley?
Yeah, you would. You would. It's Widnes at Wembley. It's the it gets the old kind of the blood pumping, and I think Alan Ray's got over 10 coaches, and I know there's plenty of others going as well from different boozers in the town, and it's almost like there's a cup fever about it. I've got some friends who live outside of Widnes now, but the true Widnesians, and they're saying we can't really feel it, but I said, let me assure you, you can feel it inside the town, and people are getting giddy about it, which is great.
And I suppose the other thing, and obviously I know people are, I know it's not a chance to final, whatever, but if Widnes go to Wembley and they play well and they win, hopefully, okay, people criticise bandwagon jumpers, don't they?
Yeah.
But imagine if they can get season tickets on sale a week after the final. Imagine if everyone's gone to Wembley, had a cracking day, Widnes have won. You'd imagine you might get some floaters and some casual fans who would then commit to having a season ticket to show support for the club.
Absolutely, and that has got to be the aim. Widnes do need regular season ticket holders. They need more bums on seats, bodies through the gates and turnstiles, more corporate. I've just written a piece last night actually for the programme with Jack Owens. I reflected saying, look where we've come from, but actually we're not out of the woods yet as a club, but we've still got some financial adversity to get through. There's still creditors to pay, etc, etc. We're in a far better position than we were 6 months ago, but still, the club is feeling a pinch point, and let's not forget that. But what Wembley can do is bring in some of those extra revenue streams which we didn't normally have.
I think season tickets have got to go on sale. They've got to be geared up to be going on sale on the Monday, I think, after the Saturday game, because I think I always remember. I mean, I'm a big advocate for having them online, and I think without doubt they should be available to buy online. And I said this. Remember the other year when we survived relegation at Catalan away?
Yeah.
I'd have bought my season ticket on the Monday morning after that game if I could buy it online. Couldn't buy it online, and that ended up, with all that was going on, and that was the only year I've not bought a season ticket in the last 20 years. But it was like I'd have done it almost like as an impulse buy if it was available to do. So hopefully they can do something to build on that.
Absolutely, we're in 2019. This stuff isn't hard to do. It's dead easy to do. You just need to make sure we get the right people who can facilitate it and push it forward.
No, we were just saying. Obviously, obviously that's sort of what I do, what our business does, and we've just done it for Warrington Football Club, and season ticket sales have doubled just from having it available online. Now, obviously, they're a much smaller fan base, and you could make the argument it's easier to double theirs, but the proof's in the pudding that if it's easy and accessible to do, people will do it. If you're sat at home on a Friday night and you think, actually, you see a tweet and you're directed to the season ticket, then why wouldn't you?
That's it. No, I totally agree, and it's not a massive amount of money what we're talking here. Season tickets have come right down. Let's not forget again. We're in the Championship here, but there are some. It is a pretty good level of rugby league, and that it's a strong competition, and there's been some cracking games this year, which I've certainly enjoyed. I know you have too. So.
I mean, and also, we've not really been in the promotion. We've not been in the playoff race because of the situation. Whereas next year, it's going to be, and even a level above this year, because obviously we'll be competing. Well, you'd like to think we'll be competing for that top 5, and Bradford away won't just be a write-off. It'll be an actual 4-pointer to get in the playoffs.
Absolutely, it's all about being competitive, and obviously Kieran Purtle signing, for a 12-month, 1-year deal was the first move. What we need to see now is a little bit more activity in the market, and say these lads are signing. Obviously the speculation regarding some players, which you might want to touch on.
Yeah, well, we talk about that. So there's 8 players on contract, isn't there? I think.
Yeah.
And obviously the club has to one of those contracts. Yeah. They're on contract. Just because the club's going part time doesn't mean they can say see you. So in theory, Gelling could be here next year. The smart money is he's going to Warrington.
Yeah.
We think Keenan Brand's going to Warrington as well. I think you might have to shout the other 6. We've got Brad Walker, Liam Walsh, Danny Craven. On contract. You'd like to think that all 3 of those would stay. I mean, we're not seeing much of Liam Walsh, but
Liam Walsh he's been in and out, hasn't he? Let's say I've not seen much of him myself.
Yeah, he's not played many.
But he's been a
he's played in England academy.
Yeah, he's a talented lad. He's a talented prospect, but for whatever reason, he's not got the game time. Perhaps Owen Farnworth has has took his place a little bit,
maybe,
perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
I mean, I think Brad Walker, I think you've seen some games where when he's at 13, I think Widnes are far better when Brad Walker plays at 13. He's on contract, so the contract, Craven's the one, isn't he, really, that you're wondering...
Craven is the big one, because...
I mean, in theory, should we be worried about it? Because, I mean, Craven could sit on his contract, couldn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to leave, he could sit on his contract and, you know... I suppose there's three outcomes. He either sits on his contract, he accepts a reduced contract, or he goes somewhere else.
Yeah, and you know, I would love him to stay. I would love him to stay.
I think for me, he'd be the key. He'd be the priority for me to keep.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd splash the cash with him. And if Gelling goes, which let's face it, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's going to free up some funds elsewhere, which we should plunge into Danny Craven.
I mean, I suppose the whole thing is the season ticket thing is another, you know, on that point as well. Is that if the club knows that it's going to shift X number of season tickets, or if they sell them early, then it means they can recruit early.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But just going back to Craven, you know, I think Lee are doing some serious sniffing around. They've got money, as we know, and you know, at the end of the day, Craven has got to do what's best for himself and his family. You know, I think he's got 2 young kids, and you know, if they offered him big money to play for them, whether it be in Super League or the Championship, then you know, you just shake his hand and say best of luck, because end of the day, you know, you or I would probably do the same. It would be a tough one for him to go, because you know, he spent, you know, a long time at Widnes. I think getting on for 10 years, so it'll be a huge bind, and he's got some really big relationships, particularly with Phil Finney and people like that. So
it's interesting with Craven though, isn't it? Because obviously he's been available in many ways for probably the last 5 years. Because obviously in Super League, you know, they had Brown and Mellor who were ahead of him, and you know, Dennis Betts had sort of written him off, hadn't he? And he's almost been available and no one's taken him. And then now it's almost like now Widnes are like desperate to keep him. All of a sudden, other people want him. Yeah,
it's mad the way it happens though. But I suppose that's rugby league, and you know, you do get swings and roundabouts, and players come in and out of form. And you know, for me, you know, Danny wasn't a Super League quality player at that time. I'm not saying that that's the case now, you know, because he's certainly improved. But in this division, he's probably found his level, and he's probably, you know,
in my opinion, he'd be a contender for Championship Player of the Year.
100% agree. And why, you know, I think he's enjoying being that kind of.
Yeah, he's the main man. Because like you say, you know, he spent however many years behind Kevin Brown and was always the main man, and you know, he's never really had a settled run in the team, whereas now he's got that benefit that he knows that he's the number 6, and he's the number 6 every week.
That's it, and he's calling the shots at the end of the day, and I think Pirtles just said to him, listen, go and play your own game.
Yeah.
You know, you do as you please and march the team around, and you know, he's done that really, really well this year, and you know, he's been fantastic for Widnes, and anything good which has come out of Widnes has probably come out of him, and a little bit of Jack Owens as well. He'll be pushing him. I certainly think if you had to do your top 3, Craven, Owens would definitely be your first 2, and then your third. I mean, there's a bit of it's up for debate. The third one, I'd sort of lean towards Harrison Hansen myself, but I'd probably go with JJ. But you know, Harrison's been good this year. He's been a real leader, and that, in a time like what we've had, we needed to step up as well. You know,
do you think JJ heavily linked with Salford? Do we think that's a done?
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, you can sort of see Johnson being. Him and Craven are at different times of their career, aren't they? Because Johnston could still establish a career as a full-time Super League player, whereas, you know, Craven's 28, is he?
Yeah.
You know, he's coming. You know, he's still got 5, 6, 7 years left, but he's not got his whole career ahead of him like Johnston has.
That's it. And you know, Ian Watson was in the crowd. You know, he was sat 2 rows in front of me 2 weeks ago. So he's looking at some of our players, and you know, and wondering whether they can make the step up. You know, Johnson is one who could play, and he'd probably fit into that system at Salford. But let's not forget, Watson could end up at St Helens.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing with Johnston is obviously it'd be a blow to him, but I quite like look at Dugdale when I don't know how many games you've seen. He's not played many games, but he's looked like he's got something. Ganson sort of seems to have gone backwards a little bit, because he came in and he was doing okay at first, and then he's sort of I don't know whether since he got his deal he's dropped off a little bit. You wouldn't have him. He doesn't look like someone that you'd have as your first choice looking next season.
I agree. You know, I think he's not delivered in the games what I've seen him. You know, he's obviously come from Wigan, a great environment, and but Wigan don't get short of good players. and that's no disrespect to the lad. You know, he can certainly hold his own at championship level, but we get to see it at Widnes.
In terms of other players, who do we? You know, you look at the players that we've got, and obviously we have to strengthen. We've got to sign some seasoned part-time. You know, it'd be great to sign Steve Tyrer or Shane Grady, players like that who could come in. But of the other players, who do we realistically think is going to go elsewhere? Or, you know, I'm talking the likes of, you know, Christine, you'd expect maybe him to stay around. You know, Sam Wilde, maybe you'd expect him to stay around. But players like Ryan Ince, do you think would he get a full-time deal somewhere? I know he's had offers in the past as well.
I think certainly Ince could go to another club and do very, very well. But, you know, I don't know him particularly well, but from what I've seen of him, from when I've been around him, he loves Widnes. He's a Widnes lad. He kind of gets the club get him. He likes being around the town. So you know, and he's a bit of an introvert as well. Let's not forget.
And it's like, I suppose the thing that I always think is like, well, okay, just because Widnes going part time, they could still make a decent living off playing. You know, Chapel Brothers are the same, and you know, a few of the other players where you sort of think, well, yeah, okay, they could get a full-time deal elsewhere, but actually playing at a top-end championship club in Widnes, being part-time, might not actually be the end of the world. So it will be, obviously, I think I made the point that the club needed to sort out the coach. They've sorted that out, but like I say, it'd be nice to start getting a few. You know, I think the club hinted that they've got 3. Did they say they've got 3? 3 signings sort of in the pipeline that they're going to announce re-signings in the coming weeks. So
3 big signings would be good, but you know we need a few more than that. To be honest.
Well, obviously they need to recruit as well. You need the experience. You're going to have to sign 3 or 4 experienced players. Because don't forget, it's going to be, you know, whereas this season they've maybe got away with getting beat at Bradford and Halifax and not that, next season you're not going to be able to do that. They're the games that you're going to have to. You know, even looking at Batley, there's no way next season if you're going to make top 5 you can afford to be losing to Batley and Dewsbury, for instance.
Definitely not.
And they've sort of been able to get away with that this year because it's a young team and they're all young lads. Whereas next season that excuse is gone.
Yeah, but Widnes' away form this year has been quite worrying.
Terrible. Yeah.
You know, I don't think we've won in Yorkshire, which is a phenomenal kind of stat when you think about it. And you know, that's got to change next year, 100%.
Oh, without doubt,
because if it doesn't, Widnes are going to end up in the same situation as we are this year. And you know, some of them teams at the bottom, you know, Swinton have strengthened. They've been very impressive. Swinton, you know, I think they're going in the right direction. You know, obviously Rochdale are cast adrift now, so it's. You know,
I mean, and especially when you look at all the sides, you know, Widnes ultimately they've got the second highest attendance in the league behind Toronto. There's no reason why part-time Widnes shouldn't be the strongest team in this league.
That's it. You know, look at Sheffield as the model. Sheffield have had loads of adversity, you know, over the years. They nearly went bust on 2 occasions. They've come back. You know, Mark Aston's built the squad back up.
They've done well this year.
Yeah.
And Thackeray ran rings around Widnes last week.
Oh yeah, you know, a really experienced guy, and that's the type of player which Widnes need. Not necessarily in that position. But, you know, up front.
Yeah, someone who's played years in championship.
100% agree.
We'll just run through some of the bits from the members' night. So, which we'll probably end up spinning off into all sorts of chat. So there's been a lot of talk about the historic debts and stuff that was taken on.
Yeah.
Now we had the administrator's report. I can't remember whether you were here for that one. We had the administrator's report. So the club didn't take on all the debts of the old club, but they took on some rugby debts, which was effectively to the RFL, to clubs, medical bills, because ultimately, without doing that, they won't be able to, you know, work with those clubs moving forward.
That's it. I think there's stuff that you couldn't get away with. Let's face it. You know, you've got the governing body, you've got the council. You know, we're in bed with Holden Borough Council, and you know they've been fantastic, and you know they could have called that debt in. You know, was it 370,000? I can't remember what it was.
But obviously, that's covered by the administration, basically. And the only thing that council could have done was they could have said, look, you're not playing at the stadium until you've paid that. But obviously, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't work.
Whereas the local hospital could say that, well, we're not dealing with you until you've paid that debt. There's no value in the council doing that over the stadium because ultimately they've got no one then to pay to play there.
Yeah. I just think, you know, financially, it's all about this year getting on a level playing field, on an even footing, you know, so the club can basically wash its own face and get on with the job.
It sounds encouraging that it sounds like they're going to be at the bottom of that by the end of the season. So hopefully by the end of the season, clean slate, you can move forward. You know, you're looking at the 8 players that are on contract. You'd imagine, you know, looking at them, Gelling and Craven are probably on decent whack, but the others are probably on fairly low wages anyway, having obviously being young lads. I wonder how much, you know, if Craven, for instance, decides to sit on his contract, I wonder how much of an impact that might have.
Yeah, possibly. You know, I don't think we know what figures these are on, but certainly Gelling, you know, you won't get much change at £100,000. I think you know, we talked early in the series in the season where we discussed whether keeping Gelling was it a good or was it a bad thing, and you know, I'm sticking to my guns in terms of what I've said. You know, he's not played an awful lot of games. You know, some of the games that he has played and he's been great. Some have been really low quality from him. I know he scored the winning try in the crucial game, but
I mean Bradford away he was terrible. I mean everybody was. But I think the thing that I suppose being dead cynical is at the back of the administration, the club probably could have cut a few more costs. Is that a few more overheads maybe?
100%.
And obviously it would have resulted in them being a bit harsh in some ways. But you know, maybe that was an opportunity where actually they could have saved, you know, a considerable amount of money had they just said, well, okay, you know, we're not going to honour that contract as part of the administration.
No, I think there's certainly something in that. For me, the organisation now that's gone part-time has got to be run very, very lean. The organisation has got to be lean. It's got to look at efficiencies. It's got to look at savings. Where we can make money, let's make money. Where we can cut, we've got to cut. Because at the end of the day, we cannot be in a position where, for the third time, we're on the brink of going out of business.
It's got to be run sustainably now.
It has, and I'm sure under the directorship, what we've got now, that will be the case. But we cannot be complacent there. And if there is efficiencies, you know, there's certainly efficiencies which we've spoken about, which we've identified, which other clubs have made. Tough decisions, yes, but we're
that's
thinking
the nature of the beast, isn't it?
It is. You know,
you're not running a charity case. You're running a business, aren't you?
Absolutely. We're all stakeholders in this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if there's a saving to be made, let's make it, because sometimes it's in the best interest of the club.
So they made the decision to go part-time, which was, you know, without doubt, in my opinion, the right decision.
Yeah.
The salary cap's still at the ridiculous level, 2 million. So you'd imagine Lee are going to chuck a load of money at it next year.
Yeah,
I mean, if London come down, I just think it's pointless trying to compete. I don't foresee anyone other than Lee. Maybe Newcastle if they come up chucking loads of money at it. So you've got to just manage within yourself.
Yeah.
Looking at these members' Monday notes, Phil Finney mentioned about dual registration next season. I for one, I think Widnes should 100% look at doing something, probably with Warrington. I know some people think, oh well, it's the first step to becoming a feeder club and all that palaver, but I just think I'm amazed that it hasn't happened this season. I don't know whether it couldn't happen because of the full-time thing or what. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, you look at who Warrington have got. You could have had Danny Walker, you could have had Lewis Johnson, you could have had Harvey Levette, you could have had Pat Moran, just at your, you know, available. I made the case with Ben Westwood a while ago because I thought, you know, he's the sort of gritty player that Widnes needed, and I just think you'd be foolish to not swallow your pride and just do that. In my opinion,
I know Benny's hanging his boots at the end of the season, but I would take him. I'd be offering him.
I think he'd have been ideal this season, honestly, with all them young kids. He'd have been the one, you know, that league game at Summer Bash, where they got absolutely, you know,
they got mullered basically.
Yeah, he'd have been, you know. And I just think as much, I understand why people are a bit like, oh well, we'd be the feeder club for Warrington, but I just sort of think, especially with reserves next year as well, is, you know, if Brand does go to Warrington, say, then just dual reg him back, you know, and you know, Danny, you know, we've been struggling for focus all year, but Danny Walker's been in and out of the Warrington team. He could have been dual regged and played.
Exactly. It makes sense, and at the end of the day, we've got to do what's right for the club, and if it means, like other clubs do, we exploit the system a little bit, then so be it, because at the end of the day, we all want to get back to Super League and, you know, keep going back about, you know, let's have a shot of realism here. It's not going to be next year, it's not going to be the year after, or even the year after that, before we're in a position to do that. And I think the fans need to kind of accept that we're in the Championship and we need to build for the future. If that means bringing players from other clubs to do the job, then so be it.
They're hoping to keep the academy and self-fund it, so it has no impact on the first team funds. That's another note I've got on here. Season ticket announcement expected end of August. They had 2,700 this year, but of course that included a lot of freebies, and of course the current club didn't get the money. We can talk about the kit now. So they've been asked to request the home kit for Wembley. I'd imagine Widnes will play in the home kit at Wembley because Sheffield play in white.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine Widnes will play in the black kit, because there's this theory going around that the green kit is unlucky. But is that not just a coincidence that you wear? It's not as if you wear random kits every week. You wear the green kit away. So it's nothing to do with the kit. It's because they're playing away, isn't it? No?
Well,
they wore the black one against Lee though, didn't they, I suppose, which is the theory.
Yeah, I'm not into all this kit business, you know. To be honest, let's not forget, we've seen about 20,000 kits under the past administrator, so I'm happy just to go home and away next year. And let's go back to what it used to be, you know, black and white, and then forget about the rest. You know what I mean? We had the red kit, you know, with the ICI on that. That was fantastic.
I think my opinion is your own kit. Widnes needs to recreate what their identity is. You know, some years we have a white home kit, some years we have a black one. You know, like predominantly. Decide what it's going to be, and then I think the away kit should be red. And I think your club colours are then black, white, and red. Because the thing is, what we've had over the years, we've had so many different colours, and you know, like when you go in, you know, like when you see people kicking around in, you know, O'Neill's tops and stuff, and they're all like, some of them have got purple on, some of them have got like this green on, and it's like, well, are we going to decide that our colours are black, white, and red, and just stick to it?
Well, that needs to happen. You know, the brand, you know, it has been diluted through people not knowing how to kind of
do it.
Stick to brand guidelines and just the simple basics. It's just been throwing any old idea on a piece of paper and saying O'Neill's print it, which is absolute nonsense. You know, for me, it's just got to be simple, clean. I've done with it. And also, I might add, I would be a real push for going back to the old kind of crest as opposed to the current Viking flagship, which to me doesn't mean an awful lot.
I mean, I've never been keen on the current logo. I didn't see any I mean, the old one, you know, the old Viking head. It needs modernising that now. There was nothing particularly wrong with that. Is it for me? We've got to decide. Is the kit going to be white shirt, black? For me, Widnes history. I mean, obviously, I'm only 30 odd, but white shirt, black shorts. Whereas the last few years we've been toying with black. I mean, I think the first year when O'Connor had it was black, wasn't it? And it's like, well, we've got to decide. You know, you don't. I think. I mean, the thing is, the wider rugby league problem is, have your, like say, your brand identity. Stick to it. You know.
Exactly.
Saints always have a red V. Simple as.
Definitely, you know, and you know, some of the Widnes kits in the past, you know, it's you know, it made me want to vomit. Actually, they've been terrible.
Right. Well, we had an interesting conversation about the sponsor, because we both, I mean, obviously we don't know the ins and outs of the community funding and stuff, but our opinion is that the Beat the Scrum thing shouldn't be on the front of the shirt. And our suggestion to make a bit of money was, could they not have had another sponsor on the shirt for Wembley?
Love Rugby League.
Well, I'm not saying that, but it'd be interesting to see what sort of companies can be attracted to go on the front of the shirt next year.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, we should be working on that. You know, 6 months ago.
And we presume that it is. And I know obviously Dave Rott's been out, and I think I've seen a few tweets and stuff and videos where they've signed up sponsors for next season for the kit without announcing, you know, who's the name and who's on the back and stuff.
No, having a real kind of commercial backing, it sends a real strong message out to you know, the Widnes community, the Runcorn community. You know, all that area to say we've got a company who trusts us and who's backing us and who's putting the money where their mouth is, and I think that needs to happen.
Running through this list, Council very supportive. We've already said that. No, you might know a bit more about this, but Championship TV deal speculation that's been flying around, which is complete cobblers. Apparently, there's no Championship TV deal even close. I know there was a mischievous rumour going around about Channel 4, but our understanding through our wider is that there's nothing really close.
Yeah, I just think it's a case of let's wait and see what happens on
that. Not sure. Special measures is an interesting one, because obviously Widnes have been largely in it all season. Managed to get, I don't know what basis the Arvan signing was allowed. I think Chris Price put a bit of money in, did he, to cover it or something.
It needed to happen, and I think finance came in to make it happen. You know, it's a good bit of business, isn't it?
Well, yeah, needed bodies without doubt. Reserve team, so obviously Widnes, they're bringing back mandatory reserves next season, and of course, because Widnes have got the Tier 1 academy, they've got our reserve. An interesting note here of they think that the academy and reserves may play on alternate weekends, so effectively you don't need to run a completely separate reserve team. You can still use some of the academy players. That seemed pretty sensible to me.
Yeah.
A new lottery's being worked on apparently, an electronic programme's not likely. The fanzine actually is out this weekend, and is it up to the 3rd issue of the Whistle fanzine? Yeah, so that's out this week. 1895 cup winning prize money. We talked about this before. £5,000 apparently is the prize money. Better than a kick in the teeth, I suppose.
No, £5,000 will go a long way, wouldn't it? To be honest with you.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Now we've talked about the last two on my list are about potential rebranding kit. So we'll talk about the rebrand thing. So what? So you think you'd rebrand and go back to the town crest?
I would. Yeah, I just think that the old kind of brand is a little bit tainted just because of what happened with the whole administration thing and all the personalities around the club at the time. And for me, it would be a clean break from the whole lot. I could make a very serious case for it, to be honest with you. But Whistle. Have you seen the new Whistle logo? No, I've not.
There's it. I don't. It's got. I'm trying to think now what it's like. It's got the new bridge and like a rugby ball going over it.
Oh, right, okay.
In a little like shield or something, and it actually looks alright. Because the Widnes logo's always been very. I think initially they were too big for the boots, weren't they? And they thought that it had become like the Nike tick, didn't they?
Yeah.
And ultimately, then it was only because initially it didn't have Widnes underneath, did it? They had to add Widnes underneath because no one had a bloody clue what it was.
That's it. I think the management at the time, I think the management at the time thought they were Apple.
They were really. It's like, what is that? It's nothing. There's no identity there. So.
Exactly. But it's something to really think about whether Widnes has got the resources.
Well, that's another thing because obviously a rebrand costs money, and it's like, is it a time? Is there enough? Because you'd like to think you'd sell a load more gear with it on, but ultimately someone's going to have to put up the outlay to create that all in the first place.
And let's not forget, Warrington did it, didn't he? With the Y logo, and that's.
And I don't. Yeah, and I'm still very much on the fence as to whether that has been successful because I know it cost them an awful lot of money, and I know that Roger Draper left him in a bit of They had a little bit of money owed, because they obviously had to redo everything.
But at least it flows through a lot of their campaigns and a lot of the marketing.
It all ties into the whole brand identity. If they're going to do it, let's say this is the badge, these are the fonts we're going to use, this is the home kit which we're going to have as much as possible. The away kit will always be red or whatever, and do it like that.
It's just about being professional, and and there's certain areas, digitally, which we talked a little bit loosely about where we can improve without spending and breaking the bank. You know what I mean? And
what about Vikings? Would you keep Vikings? Would you drop Vikings?
For me, I love the chemics, but that's probably because I'm an 80s kid really, but I'll move with the time. We'll keep Vikings.
So you think keep the Vikings because Warrington are sort of. I don't know whether they're doing this, but obviously because Warrington had this big thing where the fans wanted to call them the Wire and all that palaver, and it's like they call Warrington Wolves, but they want to be called the Wire, and it's confusing as hell.
Yeah.
And they're sort of getting to they've rebranded their social channels to be Warrington RLFC now, and you're sort of wondering, are they going to drop the Wolves? Because realistically, that second part of the name is irrelevant, isn't it? If you take Widnes is still Widnes, whether it's Widnes or Widnes Vikings.
Exactly.
And it's like, if you named it the Vikings, it's got no. The identity of the rugby team is Widnes.
Yeah, it's Widnes RLFC.
Yeah.
To me, and it always will be.
Yeah.
But I get why Vikings are there. Wide nose and all that palaver. And when it was done, back in 1996 or whenever it was done, it was great. But things move, times change.
Yeah, I think for me, the whole thing with the name is, I did actually did a separate video on this about monikers where I just don't get it, because obviously it's like. Not so much in towns like Warrington and Widnes, but in like Manchester where they've got like loads of teams and they've all got different stupid names at the end that don't really mean anything. Doesn't mean anything, does it? And it's like, the Widnes rugby team is never going to move out of Widnes. So why do you need to worry about anything out of Widnes? You just focus on what's going to market it to the local area. And what's going to market to the local area is, leaning on the local heritage. It's like, Warrington obviously do very well with the Primrose and Blue and the Wire thing. No one cares about the Wolves.
Exactly. No, I totally agree.
Well, keep an eye on that one. Maybe we'll get consulted for the rebrand after this discussion.
Yeah.
Thanks to sponsors Musical All Sorts, PD Law, Arnold Gorse Financial Management and Dealers of Jewellers. Thank you to Ian for coming in and giving some company and actually getting me off my ass to do one of these because I've not done one for a few weeks. And hopefully we'll see you again very soon.